There was a big part of me that thought that Frankie could upset him, but that all was based on one thing, which was, is Frankie going to have a wrestling heavy approach? And he doesn't always. He's such a good boxer and he relies on that. But if you go back to his, in many ways, it was an upset over Yair Rodriguez. In fact, I believe it was officially, I have to go check that. I believe Frankie was officially an underdog in that fight. But the way he handled Yair was with that wrestling, his timing of his double leg. I mean, this was St. Pierre-esque at its finest. It was perfect. His top control, his effort on top to do damage, to advance, to get closer to a conclusion to the fight was awesome. And I did believe if he got Max down, he could have that same kind of top pressure and those same kind of good moments. The question was, could he get him there? That's, I think, what we had answered, and the answer was no. Max had that box checked as well. But overall, it's a very good contest, and it does leave you with where do they go from here. Now, with Max, he's in a really good spot. He goes into Volkanovski. All you want as a fighter is a question. You want the fans to as a fighter, as an athlete, you want to make sure there is no question. You want to prove your point. You want to shut everybody up. You want to earn the respect. However, from a business standpoint, you don't ever want that to happen. You want there to always be questions. How will that go? How would this guy do against this opponent? I'll use Jon Jones on the counter side of this. Jon Jones does not want there to be any questions. If you question Jon Jones, you have then disrespected him. He will then be upset. Jon Jones is stupid. Jon Jones is one of the best fighters to ever fight, and he doesn't fight to sold-out arenas. And he's not going to fight in front of a sold-out arena for a meaningful period of time. He could not sell out an arena right now unless he was opposite Daniel Cormier. The reason, he's stupid. He doesn't understand the questions that the fans have is what makes them sit down and tune in. If they know how the movie ends, they're not going to want to watch it as much as if they can speculate. So for Max, he's in a very good spot business-wise because there are still questions. Is he the greatest? Is he the best? Oh, yeah, he's all of those things. But Volkanovski provides something that Max has not been in there with before, which is strength. It is ungodly strength. Volkanovski used to weigh 211 pounds when he played rugby. He is a muscle shark to the highest of levels. I cannot ever remember looking forward to a fight and then the big question being, can the champion deal with the strength of his opponent? It almost sounds a little silly. However, we've never seen anybody as strong in a weight class as Volkanovski, and it is very real. If he gets his hands on you, he keeps his hands on you. It's a problem. But that question is really great for Max business-wise. You always want to have something like that. Now, for Frankie, what happens next? I believe all options are on the table. I really believe that. When I say all options are on the table, move to 135 has been discussed. Staying at 145. Going back to 55. Unlikely on the table. All the way down to perhaps not doing it again. I don't know where Frankie is at mentally. I know he is a competitor who works his ass off and who has a goal. So I do not believe that he is going to retire, but they all step away at some point. And some of them can step away on a high note, intact. Kenny Florian comes to mind. Fine example. Fought for the same title that Edgar just did. Turned in a great performance against Jose Aldo. One of the more competitive matches Jose had ever had at that point. Kenny Florian won 2 rounds. Turned out there was 5 rounds in the contest. Okay, great. They raised Jose's hand. Kenny said, you know what? I'm done. I'm all done. I feel great. I'm healthy. Had some great memories, some great experiences. That was the opportunity I had. That's the opportunity I wanted. I'm done. Awesome. No one's ever questioned it. And Kenny holds his head high, and people look at him in a great esteem. And for many guys, that's very important to them. How will they be looked at after? They talk about their legacy, things like this. Frankie Edgar is in a fantastic spot. There will be a time, should he stay in it long enough, that his plight and his struggle and his record will be like everybody else's. Many of you have forgotten, but Mike Tyson lost his last 4 fights. He had not lost 4 fights in his life, and he started boxing when he was 14 years old. He lost his last 4. He just stayed in it too long. Very common, very normal thing. Sometimes you wish that hadn't happened. I wish he hadn't racked on those losses at the end. BJ Penn may be a better example of who's going through it right now, who's adding up those losses. You go, oh, we only knew what we know now. We could have rewound the tape. But for some guys, that doesn't matter. They want to go out there and compete, or they believe it won't happen to me. I don't know what's going to happen with Frank. I'm sitting here speculating for you, but when I talk about all options are on the table, that is the option that is also on the table. Let's see where things go.